We are starting chapter 3 in our MyMath book today. We're on lesson 1, which is take apart tens to add. And remember, we've talked in the past about how 10 is the magical number, right? Our whole math system is built upon the number 10. And we can take apart tens or take apart numbers to make tens to make it easier to add. So that's what we're going to do today to help with our mental math strategies. The essential question for our new chapter is, how can I add 2-digit numbers? How can I add 2-digit numbers? So digit is a word that means how many place values there are. And so we've got 2 digits, which means that we're going to have tens and ones. Here's our problem of the day today. It says there are 10 snacks on a tray. There are 4 trays. The answer is 40 snacks. What is the question? So I've got the answer already. It tells me the answer is 40. And it says there are 10 snacks on a tray and there are 4 trays. So 4 trays, 10 on each. And 40 is our answer. So what would the question be? What are we trying to find out? We are trying to find out how many snacks there are in all. So our question would be, how many snacks are there in all? All right, so we're going to do a quick check to review what we learned in chapter 2. It says write the equal addends that make each sum. So equal addends means that both numbers are going to be the same. So equal addends is another way of saying doubles. So what number doubled makes 14? 7 and 7, right? Those are equal because they're the same number. Let's try number 2, 18. What doubles makes 18? If you split 18 in half, you get 9 and 9. And then what double makes 20? 10 plus 10. Okay, I want you to pause and solve 4, 5, and 6 on your own, and then you can push play when you are ready to check your answers. Okay, so hopefully you've worked these out on your own. You know that 8 is the double's sum for 4 plus 4. 16 broken in half is 8 plus 8. And 12 is 6 plus 6. How'd you do? Hopefully you did well. Okay, so here's our test practice problem. It says Michelle has 5 dolls. Tamika has the same number of dolls. How many dolls do they have all together? Go ahead and pause and solve, and when you're ready, you can push play. Okay, did you get 10? Michelle has 5 and Tamika has 5. 5 plus 5 is 10. All right, so today we're exploring what strategies we can use to add. And I want to remind you of the zero property of addition. So when I have a problem like 0 plus 5, we know that equals 5, right? Whatever number you're adding to 0 is going to be that number. Same thing with 6 plus 0, it's going to be 6, right? Well, this works for tens too. Let's say I have 10 plus 5. Really, it's the same thing as this problem above. We're just going to put that 10 on the front, but 0 plus 5 is still 5. Same thing here. If I had 10 plus 6, 1, and then 0 plus 6 is 6. So when we have a number that we're adding to 0, it's going to be much easier to do that mentally because we know that 0 plus whatever is going to be that number. So one strategy we can use is if there isn't a 10, we could make a 10, or we could split apart a number to make it easier for us to add mentally. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so here's an example, and we can use base 10 blocks to model. We can take apart the add-in to solve. So if I'm adding 37 plus 24, let's go ahead and pull up the base 10 blocks. So I've got 10, 20, 30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'm adding 24, 1, 2. These guys want to stick together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so I had 7 down here. They're kind of sticking together. I had 37 and I'm adding 24. So what I can do is I can take from 24 to make 37 a number that ends in 0. So the closest 10 would be 40. So if I know that 7 plus 3 is going to equal 40. So I'm going to take 3 from my 24, and then this becomes a new 10, right? I can put those together as a new 10. All right, so now I've got 37 plus 3, which now equals 10, 20, 30, 40. And then what I have left is 21, right? 10, 21. So now I can add 40 plus 21. That's a lot easier for me to add together than 37 plus 24, because I know that 0 property of addition. And so I can look at the 10s and add 4 plus 2, which is 6, and 0 plus 1, which is 1, which means that 37 plus 24 equals 61. Okay, so that looks a little bit complicated, but basically what I've done here is just added on until I got to a 10, which was 40, and then add on the rest of this. So I took away 3 from here to add 3 here to make it an easier equation for me to add mentally. Okay, so you are going to need your Math in My World page open in your math book on page 165, and you're also going to need your pencil and your base 10 blocks that are in your math kit. So grab all those things and then you can push play when you're ready to go with all your materials. Okay, so in the red box, we're going to put our base 10 blocks. We're going to put 48 blocks in here. So will you go ahead and do that on your Math in My World page? Put 48 blocks. Okay, and then in our yellow box, we're going to put 16. So 110 plus 6 ones. Go ahead and do that. If you need to pause, you can. If you need to draw some, if you don't have quite enough, you can do that as well. But you should have 48 plus 16. Okay. Now, 48 plus 16 isn't a super easy problem to do in my head, but I can make it easier by taking a couple from 16 to make 48 an easier number to add. So I know that 8's 10 pair is 2, right? If I start with 8 and I add on 2 more, that gets me to 50. So now I'm going to show that with my blocks. I want you to do the same. Well, you take 2 from 16 and move them over to your red box, and then you should have missed one in there. You should have 10 blocks where you could swap out and actually make a trade with another 10. So now our new equation is 50. And then what do we have left over here? Well, we took 2 from 16, and so there's 14 left, right? And we can see that here in the circle, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So our new equation is 50 plus 14. Will you write that at the bottom of your Math in My World page? And now we can add much easier, right? We've got 50 plus 110 is 60, and then 0 plus 4 is 4. So our answer is 64. Okay, so we're ready for our guided practice. It says numbers that end in 0 are easier to add. Take apart addends to make numbers that end in 0. So we don't always have a number that ends in 0 to make it easy on us, but we can make a number that ends in 0. And so there's 2 different ways to do that, because really we could use either addend. We could either make 28 into a number that ends in 0, which would be 30, or we can take 36 and make it end in a 0 by making it 40. So let's take a look at both of the ways we could do that. We're going to get the same answer no matter which way we do it. So either one is acceptable. Whatever way works best in your brain is the perfect one for you to use. So it says one way is to take apart 36 as 2 plus 34, then make 28 plus 2 into 30, and then you add the leftover 34. So what they've done here is they know that 8, ooh, that's really big, 8 plus 2 is going to make 10, right? So if we take 2 away from 36 and add it to 28, that gives us 30, and then we have 34 left because 36 minus 2 is 34, and then it's easier to add 3 tenths plus 3 tenths is 6, 0 plus 4 is 4. So another way to do that is take apart 28 as 24 plus 4. So we can take these apart, and the reason that we did that is because 6 plus 4 equals 10, and so 36 plus 4 equals 40, which will end in a 0. And then since we took 4 and put it over here, we have to take 4 away, which means we've got 24 left. So 24 plus 40 is 64. So again, either way you do it, 28 plus 36 equals 64. All right, let's try a couple of more problems. These are again on page 166, and I'd like for you to go ahead and follow along with your pencil. So our goal is to make a number that ends in 0. So if we look at our first problem here with 18, again, 8 plus 2 is 10. So we're going to split 35 into 2, and then 35 minus 2 is 33. So 33 plus 2 is the same thing as 35. We're just breaking it apart to make it easier on ourselves. So 18 plus 2 makes 20, because 8 and 2 are 10 pairs. And then we're going to add the 33 we have left to get 53. So 18 plus 35 equals 53. And it's easier for us to add once we've got our 20. Now it looks a little complicated, but when you can start doing this in your brain, mentally, it'll make adding and subtracting so much easier on you. So I always think, 18, how many more to get to 20, and then add on the rest. So let's look at number 2. 44 plus 26, so I'm at 4. I need to make a 10, so 4 plus what equals 10? 4 plus 6 equals 10. So 44 plus 6 equals the next 10, which is 50. And then if I take 6 from 20, I have 20, or take 6 from 26, I have 20 left, right? 20 plus 6 equals 26, so I can break it apart that way. So the 20 I have left, I'll add to my 50, and 50 plus 20 equals 70, so 44 plus 26 equals 70 as well. All right, so it is your turn to break these apart. I know this is a really tricky concept, so if you need to go back and watch the video again or part of the video, please do that to help yourself. You also might want to write down all of your 10 pairs in your journal. Remember when we made 10 pair rainbows? So 1 and 9, 2 and 8, 3 and 7, 4 and 6, 5 and 5, and then it goes back the other way too, right? 6 plus 4, 7 plus 3, 8 plus 2, 9 and 1. And that might help you to figure out what number to take away to make your 10. So for example, let me get you started on this one. 36 to 45, 6 is 10 pair. If I look over here, is 4. And if I take 4 from 45, I have 41 left. Okay, all right, so go ahead and finish your independent practice, problem solving, brain building, and MyMath, and you may upload this into schoolwork when you're finished. I'll see you at small groups.